Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Help Is Here podcast. Today we're going to be talking about being disciplined with the gym, but being unable to stop watching porn. This is quite a common thing that we see guys struggle with. So guys who are in like super crazy physical shape, pretty shredded, and they go into the gym a lot, they're doing good there, but they keep trying to stop watching porn and they keep going back. So the thought pattern that you might have is something along the lines of, I'm very disciplined with working out, but I can't stop watching porn. What's going on here? Well, the way I see things is we have these different neural pathways, like we have different parts in our mind, and we could have like a neural pathway where we're really solid at like doing something proactive that we're trying to do to develop ourselves, maybe like working out and being disciplined. But then there's another part of the brain where you want to stop watching porn. And you want to kind of see these as like separate things to work on entirely. Unfortunately, a lot of the semen retention, nofap kind of content out there, it gets it all muddled up and they convolute like self-improvement with addiction recovery, which is a really stupid thing to do, to be honest. Like I used to think in that way as well. Like I'd even like teach that kind of way of thinking in the past as well. Like I'd be like, yeah, you need to like go to the gym or like do 100 push-ups when you have an urge and like all this like really stupid stuff. So I used to believe in all of that. I used to go on the no-fat streaks and it just led to me relapsing eventually. So I don't really recommend that anymore. What can happen is people can get stuck on what we call the not, like a not goal, not doing something, like I'm not going to do it. And you just get really like obsessed with like, oh, I don't want to watch porn. I don't want to keep relapsing. I don't want to live this way. I don't want to stay stuck. And you're just focusing on like not doing something, what you don't want as such. And then meanwhile, you got a part of you that is quite good at going, I want to get stronger. I want an aesthetic body. I want to feel good. I want to make progress. So you get quite good at like doing something. You're good at going to the gym. You're good at being disciplined in other areas of your life. But when it comes to not doing something, whether that's like scrolling on social media, not overeating food, not smoking some weed, not drinking alcohol, not watching porn, you're pretty terrible. And you keep on sort of telling yourself you're going to do something or you're not going to do something, and you keep on ending up messing up in that area, and it's pretty frustrating. So I've been there, and the problem is focusing on not doing something is what I call a graveyard goal. If someone who is dead is able to achieve the same goal as you, your goal is terrible. You really, really want to shift the way you're thinking about your goal. If like your great grandma is able to go and do the thing that you're trying to do and you're failing at it, like that is not a good place to be. And if your great grandma's alive, she's probably on a good no-fap streak as well, right? like it doesn't really even matter whether they're dead or not. Like the chances are there's a lot of people achieving the goal you're trying to do, because not doing something, it doesn't actually exist. Like that's going to sound weird and wacky, but it kind of doesn't, which I'm going to talk about more. So how do people get stronger? Well, reps, like repetition is like the key thing. Like for me, I've been going to the gym now quite a few years consistently. And what I found is like in the past years ago, I'd be a bit like compulsive around it, like watching YouTube videos on how to do things and being obsessive and like tracking everything. Didn't really like help much. Whereas nowadays I don't really care. I just go to the gym regularly. And what I found is since I just go to the gym regularly, my reps are way higher. Like I'm just doing more reps overall, like big picture. If you look at it over like 12 months, like I'm just so consistent now. And that's resulting in good results for me. Not like extreme results. Like I'm never going to be like some bodybuilder or like have some extreme like aesthetic body. I just don't, it's not a high enough priority for me, I suppose. But yeah, I'm in better shape now than I ever have been. And that's simply from the repetition. Like reps is just so key in every area of life. Like it's the same with football. Like I'm better at football now than I ever have been. And that's simply because I've had more touches of the football than ever. Like because I've practiced more. Like me and my girlfriend having a bit of a discussion about this new like documentary that just came out on Netflix called The Manosphere or something like that by he's got like Louis Theroux like interviewing these guys and whatever, and we were talking about like different traditionally like gendered things last night, like DIY, for example, like, putting IKEA furniture together and whatnot. My girlfriend was kind of saying like, yeah, I'm probably better than you at DIY. Like, she said this to me. And the truth is, like, she is better than me at DIY. And that's just due to repetition. Like, there's going to be things that people are better than others at just simply due to reps. I'm sure there's always going to be different areas of life where maybe people are innately better than others at certain things, and maybe there's going to be some biology now and then, and everyone's brain works different for sure. But really, when you break things down, a lot of things just come down to, well, repetition. And it's the same with like wiring your neural pathways. That's also how you get addicted to porn, by the way, is it's the repetition of watching porn over and over and over, which wires your brain to want to watch more porn because you've just created a new neural pathway in your brain. Anyway, how do people change addictive neural pathways? Again, it's repetition. Like, repetition of installing a new way of thinking, specifically in the moment of compulsive desire, and changing the outcome of how you respond to that desire by thinking about it in a different way. And that's what our clients do. That's what I've been doing now for like over 2 years, is every time I have a compulsive desire, like to watch porn or engage in any behavior that I want to stop, I'll go to a script which is going to train my brain and train me to think about it in a different way to the way I've thought about it in the past. And the more reps I've put in of my script, the clearer I've got on that way of thinking. And so I've changed the outcome of how I respond to desire, which has enabled me to build a shit ton of self-trust and confidence in what I talk about and my ability to deal with desire of any kind, basically. And it all just comes down to repetition. So like, people can go round and round in their minds, like trying to figure out how to be more disciplined or whatever, or like, how can I do as many things as possible to like stop watching porn? But the only thing I'd really recommend, like, sure, there's other things like, keep on reinforcing your understanding of the method, like your education of the method, like knowing the addictive part of the mind and its different tactics inside and out. Like, all of that stuff's great. But when you really break it down, the number one thing anyone can really do is repetitions of their script, because the script is the thing that's going to help install a new way of thinking in their brain, basically, especially in the moments of compulsive desire. It's in those moments of compulsive desire that the biggest changes take place. So it's all about repetition once again. The problem we have is most advice ignores the reality of addiction. So if we now look at the context of the current porn addiction sort of market, like porn addiction recovery market, or the paradigm through which people see this problem right now, most people are still focusing on distracting themselves, meditating, journaling, cold showers, installing blockers, removing their triggers, working on their trauma. And there's no real like reps that are improving someone's life here. Like, there's no reps that are going to change the thinking across any of these things. People may think like, oh, meditation, that's a great idea. Like, let's just be observant of the mind. But when the addicted part of the mind is pulling some bullshit on you, you need to correctly, assertively deal with those thought patterns and change those thought patterns. It isn't about just standing back and witnessing the chaos. I want to change the chaos, I want to get in there and change those pathways. So we've got to be a lot more proactive and a lot more attacking and put in the reps, because most strategies, there's no reps on changing the neural pathways, literally none. It's just like avoiding the problem, pushing it away until you eventually relapse after a few like days, weeks or months. So what is the reality of addiction? Like, what's actually going on here? What's the real problem to solve? Because every problem, if you want to solve it in the right way, you got to spend a lot of time understanding what the problem even is. The problem is most people are focusing on not doing something, but the truth is you are going to want to do this thing. So all these thought patterns of like, I don't want to watch porn, I don't want to keep relapsing, I don't want to live this way, I don't want to stay stuck. We're just focusing on not doing something, but then out of nowhere, you have the inevitable moment of compulsive desire. This moment's going to come. No matter how badly you want to stop this behavior, you're going to have a moment where you do want to engage in your compulsive behavior. So telling yourself you don't want to do it over and over and over, it isn't going to help you actually connect to the desire, which is going to happen. You are going to have that moment, and then actually think it through in a rational way to change the neural pathway. What we do, very simple. The only question we really ask ourselves, we're not bothered about discipline or any of that shit. It's just simply, what am I choosing to do and why? And getting the reps in of the script, keeping it super simple. There's a thing called Occam's razor, which is basically that the most simple solution will usually be the best one. And that is in my experience of life, very, very true. You know, the addictive part of the mind wants to make everything super complex. It just gets people going around in circles. And the truth is, discipline doesn't really have anything to do with porn addiction recovery. The most important thing is just the repetition. And I know I've said reps a lot of times, but I just would love people to see porn addiction as more of like a scientific problem to solve, where once you have certain inputs, you just need to apply those inputs and you can master this problem and like literally be fine like for the rest of your life, rather than it be something where it's like some ongoing indefinite journey that's all about like your ego and some deep trauma and who you are and all this identity based shit, which the addictive part of the mind wants to make it about, which isn't actually going to serve you. Like with other areas of your life, like, you know, let's say you were shit at football, you wouldn't think to yourself like, oh, what happened when I was 4 years old, which has led to me being shit at football? You just play a lot more football and you'd probably get a lot better. Like, I was on a tram with some guy last night coming back from the game, and this guy had only started playing football like 6 or 7 months ago, and he was like the worst player on the pitch, to be straight. He was pretty terrible. But in that 6 or 7 months, like he's been playing with our group of guys, he's got so much better. And I said this to him last night, like I to be fair, I didn't say he was the worst one on the pitch, so hopefully he doesn't hear this. But I said to him like, man, like you've got so much better in these last 6 or 7 months. And you know, I think he probably thought the same. Like it wasn't in like a condescending way, but it just came up in conversation because I asked him like, how long have you been playing football for? Because I could tell he was new to it. Like I could tell. And yeah, it's just repetition. That's all it is. And you know, I've been playing football since I was like 4. So like I'm obviously going to be a bit better than someone who's played football for 7 months. And it's like, I've been using the script now for 2 years. So when someone joins Beyond Compulsion Academy and they've only been in like a week or two, they're not going to have like the self-trust and the ability to talk about this problem like confidently right away. But in 2 years' time, if they put in the reps I've put in, they will. And they may even be able to talk about it more articulately and way better than I can. Like look at Joe. Like Joe's one of our clients. He's been using this method about, I don't know, maybe like 11 months or something. He's doing his own YouTube videos and stuff. He's probably put in 1,000+ reps, maybe like 10,000+ reps of the script as well. So now he can just crack on. And it is just so cool how you can break things down to like first principles and see that there can be like almost a scientific solution to the porn addiction epidemic. But it all comes down to repetition, as really most things do in life. So again, if you'd like to learn about the Beyond Compulsion Academy, if you want to start getting the reps in with a script and change your neural pathways, take the compulsion test, leave your number, I'll give you a bell. We can have a little chat, see how you're doing. And yeah, if you want to join, then, you know, crack on and join. Cheers, man. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.